Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for hopping on. Do more with MotoCommerce in 15 minutes. Thanks so much for joining this week's workshop. I've got Deborah, our Dealer Success Manager from the USA, joining the call today. Deborah, thanks so much for joining also, and welcome.
Yeah, hi, Clarice. Thanks, everyone. Or thanks, Clarice, for having me today.
So this week, we're actually going to be talking about a couple of your dealerships. There's two Subaru dealerships in specific who are actually going to be participating in a webinar session with us next Thursday. So we kind of wanted to give a little teaser into what we're going to be talking about in that full session, and looking at how those dealerships team have utilized the platform, implemented process changes, and had those people in place at the dealerships to really champion this and get the results that they were looking for. So as we know, with digital retailing, and the same with MotoCommerce as well, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's really all about identifying the areas and the opportunities in your business that you either looking to enhance, improve, or fill in those gaps as well. So we're looking details on what these dealerships have done, what kind of changes they've implemented, and how they really got there. So let's start with the first one. So this specific dealership is in Wisconsin, and Deborah, give us some insights into when this dealership signed up for digital retailing, and what was their ultimate goal? Like, what was their idea, and like what they wanted to achieve with the utilization of the platform?
Yeah, for sure. So this dealer came on probably about 3 months ago, and initially they wanted to increase their customer engagement. They wanted to go from the percentage that they were currently at the dealership, and they wanted to improve that to get to roughly about 90%, and they're actually almost there, which is great. They wanted to make it easier for the customer to go through steps to complete the purchase online, so that when it got back to the dealership or the BDC rep, it was easier for them to close the sale.
So it's really, we're talking about that evolved role of the BDC team once again, where in the past, the BDC team goal would have been to book an appointment and try and get the customer in the dealership. They're actually part of a bigger picture now and more of the process.
Yeah, exactly. So the BDC team here, what they're doing is they're entering in all their internet leads, not only the organic leads coming through the digital retailing tool, but all their internet leads, all the customer opportunities are being added to the backend tool. They're forming out those personalized emails, adding those links, those individual links to the sales reps. And then that email that they're sending to them just has so much detail in it, giving the customer the opportunity to go through the credit application, to go through a trade-in, to go through and add those accessories and those protection plans, making it simpler for the BDC rep to transfer that complete sale over to the sales rep to close that sale.
So I can see that obviously some heavy lifting going on here by looking at that screenshot from their dealer analytics. So you can see that the team are very active. The login information is right there. They share a lot of links and they create a lot of opportunities. So what does it take to get there? Because I think that's one of the kind of like objections or challenges that sometimes within the dealership teams we are faced with. Is like, oh, now I have to use another tool to do this process. So just, if you don't mind, to share with us, like, how did you get there? Like, what did that process look like to ensure that the team actually uses it the way the manager wanted them to use it?
Yeah, so I think it all starts from the intro call and asking the right questions, figuring out who you'll be working with, and getting that buy-in from the management team, the person who's going to be running the show. From that intro call, you're asking the right questions. You know you're going to be working with that BDC team. From there, setting up that training session with the management team first. From that management call, it's like constant follow-ups. It's not like, let's follow up in a week time. No, it's like every single day following up with that manager to get them loving the platform, get them engaged, for them to drive it at the dealership. She was so involved and loved the idea of the digital retailing tool and our tool that she pushed it at the dealership. Once I got her buy-in, it was each individual BDC rep taking those one-on-one training sessions with them and teaching them and allowing them to take this and add it to their daily process. Her driving it at her level, building that trust with her, as well as the BDC team, making myself available, whenever they need help, getting back to them like quickly so that they knew that I was there for support whenever they needed me. And it's more just like building that relationship and building that trust with them that allowed them to want to use the tool and like, just love using it, and finding out how easy it was to use the tool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the other things as well, is
Yeah.
to make sure that they understand that it is not difficult, it's quite easy. So what about the results? Like, what kind of results did the BDC manager share with you, and how is it working out for them?
So originally they were at about 60% customer engagement, and she recently told me that they're now at about 80% customer engagement since using our tool. Honestly, they've had just great success with the digital retailing platform. They find that customers are using it more and more, and they're getting more steps completed before closing that sale. So she's only had positive outcomes with it, and they've gone up about 20%.
Yeah, and then ultimately by doing more of those steps online is bringing the efficiency into the sales process. Yeah. So the second dealership debate in New Jersey, and I've included a couple of screenshots from their site. It's something that we touched on last week, which was across having a brand promise on your website, in your advertising efforts as well, to create that consistency in the messaging. And that was one of the things I noticed right away when I went to that dealership website. Right away, shop from home messages right there. You close it when you navigate on their site. It's across their search results pages as well. And we don't necessarily say that this is the banner you have to use or that's the wording you have to use, but it's just that consistency in the messaging and the clear brand promise to customers, because ultimately, first of all, you want to build awareness that more of these steps can be done online, and then provide the understanding for the customers to what they can actually do online as well. And that really stood out to me. So let's talk a little bit about this dealership. So my understanding, they've been on the program for a little bit longer, probably a year. And was it the similar rollout to the other one, or was this a little bit different when it came to like adapting the model?
Yeah, so this dealership, it was a little bit more, it was slower to get them to using the tool properly. They originally wanted, so the sales manager, it started off, asking a bunch of questions during an intro call, getting to know what he really wanted to use it for. He originally wanted to use it with his champion reps. To see how the tool would work. Slowly as we went along, he realized that it was a great shopping tool for customers to go through the process. And the sales rep, the champion rep, started seeing the customer engagement increase over time. He started sending those links, seeing more involvement from the customer, completing those steps before it got to the dealership. So what we did was I started training all the reps. So one by one, we took them individually and I started training them, and he got each individual rep using the tool more often and adapting to it and using it in their daily process. As new reps came on, I would train them and then continue that ongoing process with them.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we had talked about is that smoothing out some of those remote processes. And I know that trade appraisal were ones that was highlighted there.
Yeah, so they would use it for trade appraisals to push it through for a more comfortable online process, which I thought was great because they liked how it looked on the back end, and it was just easy for them to view the format.
And let's talk about results. Like what results did the dealership see?
So recently, so they have gone up their customer engagement has gone up about 60%. So it's awesome, actually.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Deborah, for the teaser with our upcoming webinar. But just to summarize to you, how can you make the most out of MotoCommerce? How can you make MotoCommerce work for you as well? And really, it's just identifying those areas where you think that there's some gaps to be filled, maybe something that you want to enhance, maybe some roadblocks you want to remove as well. Like what areas that would you like to improve, basically, and communicating that to the rest of the team And for them to get that buy-in, because ultimately you're only going to get success if the team believes in this new approach as well. And then ask your DSM for support. They're here to help you with that rollout and help execute as well, as much training as required, because we know that some team members will pick this up pretty fast, others may need a bit more encouragement as well. But as you know, our product manager is constantly working on ensuring that's a really easy and intuitive tool to use as well. But please leverage your DSMs, your dealer success managers, because they're here to help. And then setting this benchmark, here are we today monitoring that progress as well to make sure that we're moving the needle. Even if it's 1%, but we're going in the right direction, that we know that we're going to get there eventually, because it's not an overnight process. Some dealerships really pick this up fast, but the ones that we have with us really engaged, I know there are a couple of them, it took them a year to really get here as well. So we know it's not an overnight process, and it does require change management as well. But please reach out if we can support, especially your dealer success manager. Deborah, thanks so much for hopping on. I really appreciate you sharing those insights, and also inviting these dealerships to our webinar next week. So if you're free, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Kenosha Subaru and Charlie Hill Subaru participating in a webinar where they're going to really go into details of the approach that they took, how they utilized the tool, how they got the team buy-in as well. And hopefully you can take some learnings away that you can apply to your dealership process as well to ensure that you get the most out of the tool. Thank you very much, and have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.